Hey everyone, welcome to Insider Movies Halloween edition for October 2017. I am so excited about this. Now, let me be very clear about a few things for everyone who's out there. So I do have faith. I do understand that there's a whole community out there that is against Halloween because they think it's devil worship. I get that. Since I am aware of that and I am sensitive to that, I do want to be clear that that is something that I'll be aware of during this series. None of that, and actually that's part of the reason I am doing my series this way. Instead of 2 movies every single week, we're going to be doing 3. And one is going to be a family movie for everyone, and then a suspense movie, a classic movie that is suspenseful, and then the third one will be a scary movie. For the month, I worked hard on this list. I'm going to be fully honest and upfront. I worked hard. I called up more people for help on this list. I didn't have to call up anyone for help on the other list. This one, I had to call up, and I've made a number of calls and spent a good long time because I'm not a fan of scary movies. I'm not a fan of horror. I'm not a fan of horror or scary movies, and mostly because I don't do startle well. I have a startle response, but it's because I have PTSD from my family environment growing up. That is a thing. You can have PTSD from your family environment. I will be doing a video on that later. It was this exciting thing. It can really set you free once you figure that out. So that's why I did this list this way. I'm going to be dressing up a bit more on this one. I'm doing another video parallel to this, and so you'll see me dressing up a bit more. Also, just because I'm like, oh, it's Halloween, I get to dress up. I'm going to be wearing more of my jewelry. I have a ton of jewelry. I am excited to finally wear it, so I'm going to take advantage of that. So if I kind of go out, big time, if you're like, oh my gosh, she just wore some bling. Yeah, I'm wearing some bling on this series. On October, I am going to wear some bling. You know what? I might even wear some bling in December. Oh my gosh, you guys, you have no idea. You have no clue. You have no clue. Yay! Okay, so let's get into it. There are honorable mentions that I want to make because I said I worked on this list really hard. The Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's a movie. It's a movie you need to know about. However, the Rocky Horror Picture Show isn't going to officially be included because it's typically a movie that you see in a theater in a group setting. It's something that you go to a theater and it's built to be seen with a group of people, and they do a series of things during the movie. With the movie, you get dressed up in order to see the movie. Look it up online. They have plenty of things online, but it is not something meant to be seen in your living room, on a small screen, on a laptop, in your bedroom. No, that's not the Rocky Horror Picture Show. You're supposed to go see a screening of it. They'll have group screening of it. They're always there somewhere. There's some group of it somewhere. Some theater buff or somebody is showing it somewhere. There are lovers of it all over the world. There will be a showing somewhere, especially now that it's fall. Go see it. If you can handle scary things, if you can handle horror, or if you're a fan of horror and you haven't seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show, or if you are into the movies or in Hollywood, I'm sorry, then you need to know this. You need to go. They're going to expect you to know it. You just got to go. Anyway, so that was one honorable mention, and the second honorable mention is the Addams Family. So the Addams Family is a TV series. It was a TV series that was on when it was in black and white. It was huge. They did do a remake of it. It was when remakes were going downhill. Remember how I talked about remakes were really great? Like in the 70s, 60s, and 80s, remakes were phenomenal. They were always better than the original. Well, I mean, the 50s and the 30s and 40s and 50s had good, solid movies. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes they remade B movies, or they just filled out the plot, like I said. But then all of a sudden you get into the 2000s, and then they just would be like, oh, big star power, big names, and they just write on that, and they had sucky writing, right? And so Addams Family is just like that. They just got a bunch of people in there, and some people liked it, but mostly people just went because they're like, yay, the Addams Family. Just like the Brady Bunch. That was a big hit TV series, and everyone just went to see the movie, and they got into it, and they got dressed up to go see it. But then it was a flop. Kind of like Star Wars. It's not as bad as Star Wars, man. I waited in a line 6 hours, and after I saw that movie, I was like, I'm never waiting in a line for 6 hours again. Ever. Ever. No. No. I did wait and, yeah, okay, I'm not getting into that. All right, so week 1, here we go. I'm going to start with the family movie first. So number 1, and we have a whole, I even called them tonight, and I was like, what order are we, now that we know the movies, like we have this whole list, we went through all the movies, and I know there are going to be movies in here that you love, and you're like, why aren't they? And because I'm like, there's also next year, and I was like, what do they need to know now? Let's say they don't see it next year. Let's say, God forbid, something happens with my health, like, right? Like, just God forbid. What needs to be seen? So I'm sorry, like, Tales of the Crypt, sorry, it's not on here. So, but there is going to be a build, and like week 4, like there's going to be a build. So like here's week 1, and then week 2 is going to be, there's going to be a build, and we chose to put them all together in a certain order for a certain reason. So week 1, here we go. The family-friendly one is going to be Beetlejuice. Michael Keaton, he's unrecognizable in it. Michael Keaton was a huge star. Well, I shouldn't say was. What am I kidding? Like, okay, so Birdman, if you're a fan of Birdman, huge movie, right? Birdman, it's so funny. So, and Spotlight, I watch Spotlight more than any movie. I watch Spotlight 100 times, and I watch Spotlight, I'd like watch Spotlight, and then the other one, The Big Short. I just watch those movies like back to back, like over and over and over and over. So Michael Keaton was in Spotlight, and he is phenomenal, but blah, blah, blah. So he was Beetlejuice. And but the thing is that as a kid, I watched it as a kid, and it was a phenomenal movie. And it's not, like I said, family friendly, and you can watch it all year round. It's a great movie. Stylistically, it's just a good movie. You're going to love it. It's just a good, genius movie. Not like it's just a genius movie. Just genius movie. Just like Who Framed Roger Rabbit was a genius. Remember how I said the 90s were amazing? Again, this was in the 90s. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Out of nowhere. Totally original in writing. Totally different. This is the same exact thing. Same exact thing. Totally out there. Totally original. And just everyone was saying Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. And I can't believe I just said that. I can't believe I just said that. I took good drugs. They worked. All right. I can't believe I just said that. All right. So the Suspense, but what I was going to say is when I watched it as an adult again, like when I started watching good movies again, when I got sick and I was like, let's all watch this. No, that's right. When I watched it this time and I was showing the guy in Hollywood and I was pointing out, I was like, oh, it had been so long since I'd seen it. I was like, Gina Davis is in this and Alec Baldwin is in this. I had no idea. They all wore such good makeup, and I was like, all my favorite actors, these amazing actors are in this. And so it's actually just an amazingly well-rounded cast with just, and they're just, my favorite is, I'm sure, and it was my favorite as a kid. Who knew I'd become a ballroom dancer, right? Oh, shocker. Okay, so you'll know what I mean when you see it. And then, hut. Oh, you guys who have seen it know exactly what I'm talking about. Now you can't wait to see it, huh? You're going to go get on it. Going to get on it, right? All right. Suspense movie, The Lost Boys. Now, The Lost Boys, why am I saying The Lost Boys? And it's a movie where, quite frankly, we put it on the list because you're like, yeah, I see the Lost Boys reference. I don't know what it is with movie critics today. Maybe it's because they're just all men and they don't hire female movie critics anymore. And because they all, I don't know what it is with them, but they don't seem to be able to reference any other movie than the Lost Boys for the last 15, 20 years. Like the Lost Boys, Rolling Stone, and Washington, like all they did, Lost Boys. Like, you guys see the Lost Boys. And so, not that it's a bad movie, but it's an all-male cast, and it is iconic. It absolutely is iconic. But I don't think it's the best movie of all time by any means, by any stretch of my imagination. But it was such a point in time, and it was such a point, like a linchpin of the 80s almost. Like it really, it's shocking. You won't see it coming, that's for sure. If you don't know anything about the Lost Boys, do not look it up. Just watch it. Just watch it. Just get on it and watch it. And don't look anything up. Just go and watch it. And then you'll be shocked if you read movie reviews or anything like that. You'll find out how much it's referenced, and you'll be like, oh, these are why all these stars are so revered in Hollywood. Oh, you'll subtly recognize them all and why they're so big, because it's a huge movie and it's still referenced today. So moving on. Third one is Psycho, and all I have to say about that is if you've ever heard anyone say that in your life, that's Psycho. That is what that's referencing. That's what that's from, and that's why you need to know it. That's why you need to know it. And what's nice about that is these three movies, now that I think about it, is that you've got a black and white one, you've got one from the 80s, and got one from the 90s. So you've got a number of generations here, which I wonder if, everyone, we kind of did that without thinking about it. So, but that's that for this week. And I think there's a variety of ratings on that too, actually. There should be. I do want to mention Psycho. When you see the blood, a little fact that you're going to have to know that they think everyone knows. Everyone thinks that you know this. Basically, when you see blood, they use chocolate syrup for that. And that is just like one of those facts that like everyone and their mother, brother, and son used to know. Like, I didn't know anything about film, and though, you know what, we were watching a movie. We were watching The Wiz last night. Remember, I was tweeting you guys, if you follow me on Twitter, Book of Katherine. I was on Twitter and I was saying, like, I'm still not doing really well, but I was doing really poorly and I really needed to see something. And I was like, I didn't care. We'd watched Alien the night before and everyone was like, Halloween the next night. I was like, no, we're watching something for me tonight. Like, no, there's no way. I can't handle another scary movie. And so I put on The Wiz and it was like, it was like food. I was like, long, or whatever. And I was teaching them about The Wiz, and I hadn't seen it since and I calculated like how old I was when I saw The Wiz when I was a kid. And I was like, and he did really well. And I remember the newspaper said this, and I was like, how the hell did I know the newspaper said that when I was this old? Like, I really want to know, because my parents were not movies buffs. Like, I was just like, and they were like, yeah, I think you were meant for this. Like, I think you were meant to be doing the inside of movies. I think you might have just been actually thinking about where I went now. I remember I picked the school because it was on Sunset Boulevard. What does that tell you? I was like, I can walk on Sunset Boulevard every day. I want to go there. If you don't know what Sunset Boulevard, OMG, like, okay, it's on our list. It's on our list. Sunset Boulevard's on our list. Okay, I love you guys. Have fun watching this weekend. I love you guys. Peace out. See ya. Oh, and thumbs up if you like this, and share. Make sure to spread the joy. I love you guys. Bye.